Fascinating 2.5 hours of cricket. Fascinating. I mean, will India claim bragging rights now? Will India claim that, you know what, we've got a measure of the Australian top order? Yes, you can say that the latter half they tried to be aggressive, but what about McSweeney? What about Usman Khwaja? What about somebody like a Manas Labuschagne? Do these people now have the confidence against a Jasprit Bumrah? What has the innings done to an Akash Deep Singh? Joining me, Bharat Ramraj and Gargi Raut will soon be joined by Shomik Chakraborty as well. Gargi, first thoughts from you. That bowling, Shomik has also joined us. That bowling effort, Akash, the way he was being able to give shape, supporting Bumrah, Siraj a couple of wickets. India will take a lot of heart. Lot of heart. Australia would have wanted the 100 runs in 15 overs. They were not able to do that. 88 for 7 of some 18 odd overs. Not exactly what Australia wanted. So a Labuschagne, a McSweeney, and Usman Khwaja, even a Steve Smith getting that tickle multiple times on leg stump. Australia has a problem with that batting lineup. Gargi Raut.
I think our bowling lineup looked absolutely incredible going into that innings. 89 for 7. That was the score at the time that Australia declared. Clearly, everyone was talking about how the bowling lineup looks meek and it's fragile. Jasprit Bumrah is the only one doing it. Especially what I loved was, of course, Siraj getting those wickets, because from him being booed, I think he'll take a lot of confidence from that. And like you said, the Indian bowling lineup will also take a lot of heart, because now I think that the psychological advantage has truly set in, and India is performing that way. And India look much more confident than a little while. There was a little while when things looked a bit worrisome, but now I think it's all back on track, and I loved the performance that the Indian bowlers put in. That was some incredibly penetrative bowling.
Heart, Bharat, it was heart. I mean, when you look at the way Usman Khwaja started, there was intent to be aggressive. There was a clear this thing when he sort of, that boundary of Siraj and a follow-up boundary. But the moment Jasprit Bumrah took over, and that was not a shot, a rash, aggressive shot that he got out to. He was genuinely beaten and bowled all ends up. Nathan McSweeney, some 4 of 25. At no point did he look convinced or comfortable. So from Marnus Labuschagne, not as if Labuschagne was trying to attack. I can understand Travis Head. That was the throwaway wicket because he was getting aggressive or trying to be because of the situation of the game. But what about a McSweeney? What about a Khwaja? What about a Marnus Labuschagne or a Steve Smith or even a Mitchell Marsh? At no point does a Mitchell Marsh look to be in. He is also an issue for Australia. Bharat Ramraj.
Yeah, they seemed confused. That's what I can say. The Australian batters. It seemed like they were in two minds. Look at the Labuschagne shot. It seemed like he was thinking whether to slash at it or whether to just defend. I think that also was a factor that led to their dismissals, because it seemed like with the rain around, they were thinking whether to attack, whether to defend. So that was a kind of what can you say, an innings that had full of confusion. It seemed like Australia were didn't know what exactly they wanted to do there, and that I think led to some of those dismissals. If really Australia wanted to attack, then they should have sent their aggressive batters at the top. I think by asking defensive batters to play such brand of cricket, what exactly happened was they gave India support seamers. Bumrah obviously always had the confidence. What exactly happened was they gave India support seamers some confidence going into the MCG test, which should help the likes of Siraj and Akashdeep. Because most of the batters, most of the top order batters were in two minds whether to attack, whether to defend, what exactly they had to do. They didn't seem to have plan out there. So yes, a lot of positives from India's point of view, because wickets are wickets, and you will definitely Indian support seamers will definitely take a lot of positives from this innings.
Shomik, clearly, by the way, Vaibhav has also joined us. Excellent. And Gargi, I think Shopnil has sent the loop as well, so you can get that ready. And I've asked Pooja as well. Perfect. Shomik, look at these visuals. Perhaps the end of the test match, because another hour and a half delay, which means already 10:16 India. If there is one solid shower, which means 11:30, 12 o'clock, you're talking about 1 hour's play. No captain will want to sort of take it to 1/3. I mean, after a point, they'll call it off because it's not going to have a result if there is another fairly longish delay. But India will take bragging rights from this. Shomik Bharat used a statement, and I will borrow it from him: wickets are wickets. Wickets are wickets. That is what it is. 88 for 7. You will say we pushed Australia. We dented Australia. We seriously have a measure of that top order. So that is critical. That is absolutely critical. Yeah, somebody is saying, Gargi, I think we made a mistake with the day 4, day 5. Just change that title somewhere. But Shomik, be extremely important to us for India. I think India has got the psychological thing going into Melbourne before I go to Vaibhav. Show me.
Absolutely, and if any further play happens and India sort of finishing the day without losing a wicket or losing just one wicket, that would be a serious confidence boost. And also, see, the thing is that Australian batting is also vulnerable. It's not that India's batting has become big talking point, but if you take out Travis Head and go into Australia's performance, there's a lot of jitteriness in that batting lineup. And from that point of view, and I think from this test match, India's biggest takeaway is Akashdeep. First of all, he batted he batted well to ensure India avoided the follow-on, which is crucial. And once the follow-on was avoided, the game was done basically. And then that confidence, the way he batted, that rubbed off on his bowling. And we saw that this morning. So he will carry forward this confidence in the next two test match. And from India's perspective, going into the MCG in the next test match, India, I mean, there's a sort of confusion who would be a third seamer, whether after Bumrah and Siraj, Harshit played the first two tests. Now Akashdeep has been brought on. I think now Akashdeep has nailed his place. Obviously, he is a work in progress as far as bowler is concerned. He is bowling only his sixth. He is playing only his sixth test match. Even after that first innings implosion and that partnership between Travis Head and Steve Smith, India will take a lot of positives from this game into the next two matches.
No question. By the way, there's rain started and it's not looking good. No question. Shomik spoke about Akashdeep Vaibhav. The fact of the matter is, if you now
I
look
think
even
the test
Siraj,
is done.
they will say,
The test is done, I think.
yeah, even I think so. Even I think so. I think it's done because an hour and a half now, or more than that, or hour, or whatever it is, I don't see any result from here on because it means another 15, 16, 20 overs gone. India was to play 54, two were done. So what are we talking about here? We are talking about some 25-ish overs. It's not going to happen. It's done and dusted. Chapter closed. We've all been calling this. But Vaibhav, when you look at a Steve Smith, is there a problem now? That tickle down leg, bowl into his body, either an LBW or that shot. There is a weakness. And I think who said this? Shomik said it. That if you take Travis Head out, a Manas Labuschagne, not the Manas Labuschagne that we've seen, McSweeney, very vulnerable. Usman Khwaja, Bumrah has gone into his head. Steve Smith, problem. Mitchell Marsh, problem. Out of the top 6, you are talking about 5 people who have a problem, Vaibhav.
There is a problem, and it's not about technical issues. I don't think Steve Smith is facing any technical issues. I think he's fine with his back trigger, which he said that he's going back to the trigger that worked in the 2019 Ashes. I don't think it's a technical problem. It's more about mental aspect, I believe, because whenever they are facing Bumrah in specific, they are facing issues. Whether it's Usman Khwaja, he has been dismissed 4 times already in this series. I think it will continue because Usman Khwaja, since the New Zealand series only, has been struggling. And Usman Khwaja, if you look at last year or before that, he was Australia's best batsman. I mean, and since 2021, he has been Australia's best test batter, if you'll check the record. So, Usman Khwaja getting out in that manner. Manas Labuschagne has been struggling since 2022 only. So, for India to work out the methods against these batters, against Marnus, against Steve Smith, against Usman Khwaja, I think these three were the main batting stays before the start of the series. There were a lot of talk about these batters getting runs and Australia winning the series, but Now we have seen that our bowlers have worked out methods against these batters. Whether it's Steve Smith, the tickle down the leg side, they are attacking the stumps more when it comes to Steve Smith. Marnus Labuschagne is more about getting out in the corridor of uncertainty. I don't think Marnus is sure where his off stump is. That's why he's getting out time and time again. Even today as well, he got out playing the cut shot. And McSweeney, I think we are being too harsh on McSweeney because he's facing the quality of Bumrah. And when you face someone like Bumrah, it always tough, especially when you are playing your first series. But keep aside McSweeney, Steve Smith, Usman Khwaja, and Manas Labuschagne. I think Australia would have expected a much better show from them in the 6 innings so far, but hasn't been the case so far. But credit to India and the bowlers, the way they have planned out their methods against these batters.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yes, you said McSweeney is facing Bumrah, but that's what it is going to be in Melbourne, Vaibhav. That's what is going to be in Melbourne. I mean, they will have the same Bumrah who is 7 days rested. Unlike the last two test matches with a 3-day break, here is a 7-day rested Bumrah and who just bowled what, 5 overs in the second innings, so not too much at all. So, Gargi, the point here is you will get an Indian bowling attack which is fresh. You will get an Akashdeep who is more confident. You will get a Jasprit Bumrah who is well and truly rested. You will get a Siraj who is definitely going to be much more confident going into the Boxing Day Test match. So you will have a far fresher Indian bowling attack coming at Australia. The larger question will be batting, and I know there's a lot of speculation. We will hold on to that for a bit because there are certain things which you can say publicly and certain things you can't. But Gargi, the point is, let's focus on the bowling. India will fancy Boxing Day and getting into the Australian lineup after this test match, more after the second innings, even more so, Gargi.
Like I said, I think the bowling lineup after this performance, after what they did today, will be taking a lot of confidence into Melbourne, and especially with the break that they have in the middle. I think that's more important that our bowlers would be very well rested. We know that Siraj is carrying a niggle. We know that Jasprit Bumrah is carrying a niggle. So this rest will be very, very good. Also, what is Ramit Mukherjee? Calm down. Australian bowlers will also be fresh, but stop finding positives when there aren't much. There are positive, of course there are positive. What do you mean there are no positives? But I think the bowling lineup is a big positive right now. I think Akashdeep looked also brilliant as well, so that's one of the biggest positives in Akashdeep, that he can hold on to the bat. He can also what he's doing with the ball as well. So I think India will take a lot of confidence from this.
You continue, Shomik. The question that I wanted to ask you. Okay, take this. Many journalists are saying from the let's not indulge in this speculation just yet. Let's not indulge in this speculation. I've asked Shubhayan and Rohit to also hold their horses a little bit. There are plenty of things that are going around at the moment. We will not. There are certain things that you can call in a public show and certain things you can't. So just hold on a little bit. Hold on a little bit. But Shomik, the question is Romit's question about positives. There are 5 positives I will list for you. 1, Australia could not eat into the Indian tail. The tail started to wag. Number 1. Number 2, KL Rahul, Ravindra Jadeja. Now you know you have a Ravindra Jadeja solidity in that middle order. Positive number 2. You have an Akashdeep Singh who is a massive positive out of this test match. Massive positive out of this test match. Number 3. Number 4 positive, you have a bowling unit now which will now depend no longer on only Bumrah. Bumrah Siraj will have the Akashdeep backup. Number 5, you've not lost a red ball test against Australia in the last 11 except 1. So mentally and collectively, this dressing room will start to feel, hello, we were supposed to be 3-0 down. Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth. Here we are going into Boxing Day 1 apiece. Come on, Australia, let's give it to you. This is what it is. Shomik Chakraborty.
And that's why we saw that kind of a celebration once the fall one was avoided in that dressing room. In the sense, deep in that dressing room, they also know that, that saving the fall one could be series defining. And when you are going to your happy hunting ground after this, after saving the follow-on, you will carry that kind of a confidence. There would be a belief, like it is for the individual batsmen also. You when you go to your happy hunting ground, whenever Sunil Gavaskar went to Port of Spain, he knew that he would be scoring big. It's stuff like that. I mean, in white ball cricket, whenever Rohit came to Eden Gardens, he deep down he knew this is a venue that will not ditch you. So that kind of confidence you carry as an individual and also as the collective. And and I think, I mean, I also list another positive in the sense, at the MCG and SCG, I also expect Rishabh Pant to score a lot more, in the sense I don't see I mean at MCG or in Sydney, India's top order. What has happened with Rishabh Pant so far? He's not used to playing the new ball, and in the last series, Pujara was doing the others' dirty work. And he is absorbing pressure, wearing the bowling down, and allowing a stroke maker, be it Shubman Gill at the last test or Rishabh Pant, allowing to play their natural game. Rishabh Pant is coming in such situations where he is not being able to play his natural game. I hope at the G and SCG that will change. And if Rishabh Pant, I mean, with against the older ball, with the bowlers a little bit tired, Rishabh Pant is a completely different ball game altogether. So I look forward to that. That the top order is giving you. You went to Australia, basically banking on two players. One is Jasprit Bumrah. He has delivered. Rishabh Pant hasn't yet, but I mean, the way he would be comfortable, he didn't get that kind of a situation. I think that will change. And if Rishabh Pant started to click, India would be a completely different beast.
Yeah, because he's the Travis Head. He's the Travis Head equivalent. That's what has not come so far. Because you have a KL Rahul who is doing the job. You have a Ravindra Jadeja who can do the job. The moment Rishabh Pant comes into the party, Bharat Ramraj, India has a better batting lineup. The Travis Head equivalent, taking the game away, 70 minutes of batting means close to about 70, 80 runs. That's the Rishabh Pant. So we've not had that yet. But at the MCG, Rishabh Pant, SCG, absolutely can happen. Bharat Ramraj moving into the Indian batting now. MCG, 7 more days of red ball practice. Yes, I understand the Scott Boland factor, but the other bowlers getting into that match, just like the Indians, Mitchell Stark and Pat Cummins have bowled a lot of overs. Not going to be easy. So I expect an even contest in Melbourne. If not India slightly ahead, it's certainly an even contest. Bharat, where do you stand on?
Yeah, every test match obviously starts at 0 for 0, so it's a fresh test match. I understand Scott Boland factor is there. Usually at MCG over the last 3 seasons, they have been leaving more grass. But India have a good record, good memories at MCG considering all that, and they come out of this test with a draw. So it looked like they would lose, but at some point, but India have come out with a draw, so India would take a lot of positives. As far as Rishabh Pant is concerned, yes, India really need him to fire. Australia have kind of worked him out at present. What they will do is they're forcing him to play straighter so that Rishabh Pant will dangle his bat just outside and get him caught with angled across delivery to the cord, and that's what they're doing. So Rishabh Pant has to find a way against that particular tactic that Australia have used in 5 out of 5 innings against him. At least 4 out of 5 innings against him, they got him out that way. So he has to find a tactic. Maybe Rishabh Pant will tell I will come down the wicket and hit it for a boundary and everything will be fine. That I don't know what exactly he would do, but there's definitely Australia have a wood over him because they're getting him out in a certain way again and again with a tangled across delivery, where his bat will be dangled out because they want him to play straighter rather than through covers rather than square of the wicket. So if he finds a way, then obviously India will be a much better side because he's the X factor player in that particular Indian side. Someone who can not just lay the foundation but break games, and that's what he can do. So India really need him to fire.
By the way, these are current visuals. It's done. Look at the rain that's pouring down. These are visuals Shubhan Chakraborty has just sent us, which Gargi Raut is playing. These are current visuals as we speak. As we speak, this is what is at the Gabba. This is madness. So the test match is all and done. The test match is all and done. Bharat Ramraj, it's done. Vaibhav, react to this. React to these visuals. Clearly, it is now one apiece going into Melbourne. India has enough and more time to regroup. Think about this particular test match. Pat Cummins on day 2, or rather day 3 morning, 1.5 hours. Add that 1.5 hours to the Australian bowling attack now, and you would have had a match. They had 405 runs at that point in time. Is this a defensive tactical blunder from Pat Cummins, not just today, but also on day 2, day 3, which has cost Australia this game? Is Pat Cummins and Andrew McDonald, that particular pairing, have they made a massive blunder which has cost Australia this game? Vaibhav?
They must be thinking about that. And the hindsight, you can think a lot of scenarios that could go, that you might have declared earlier, or on their on second day or third day, as you said. But then they must be remindful of the fact that what happened last time when India were chasing a record total at the same venue. So they must be thinking about that we don't want to give another GABA test to India this time, because they have already lost one to India, and then one to West Indies earlier this year. So I think they were playing it safe. Is what I reckon. They were playing it safe. They didn't wanted to give India a lead. Obviously, Melbourne, India won twice in the last two series, and then Sydney is obviously has been India's one of the most what you can say better hunting grounds overseas. So but all what they wanted to do was, I reckon, was to play safe. They didn't wanted to give India a lead, and that's what they did, and that's why their declaration came late. I thought that they should have declared around 220, 230, because with rain and bad light being a factor, I think they should have declared around 200 or 210 also would have been a good total. But now you can think a lot of scenarios in the hindsight. And but what I reckon is Pat Cummins and Australia played it safe. Andrew McDonald played it safe, and before the start of the series, he was speaking about this, that Australia now Gabba is not anymore a fortress for Australia. West Indies defeated Australia at the same venue. India did that. So now it was more about saving their reputation at the venue more than anything else.
Absolutely, absolutely correct. Shomik, if you were the Indian dressing room at this point in time, if you were a Rohit Sharma, Gautam Gambhir, or Virat Kohli, one of the leaders in that dressing room, and of course a Jasprit Bumrah, who has increased his stature, enhanced his stature, into a wrong word, enhanced his stature as a leader, what would the dressing room psyche be at this point? Come out of jail. Now it's our time to pounce on Australia. Because if India starts attacking, Pat Cummins made a mistake. He does look defensive to me. Andrew McDonald does look defensive to me. Show me.
Absolutely, and the thing is that I mean it would be somewhat similar to that SCG jailbreak 4 years ago. That confidence they carried, even with a depleted side, they carried that confidence to the Gabba in 2021. So if such things do wonders. I have seen 2007, the first test in England. India got out of jail, and even at the press conference, Rahul came and said, "We got out of jail," and India eventually went on to win that series. So such kind of things give you a serious leap, and deep down, the Indian team knows. Deep down, Indian team knows this Australian team is vulnerable. Their batting is vulnerable. It's not that they are invincible. Deep down, they know, and they will work on that. I mean, Bumrah sort of has spooked a lot of Australian batsmen. And as I have said earlier, also Travis Head is bailing them out. If they somehow can figure out the Travis Head headache, I think India would be very, very happy. I mean, what the way things panned out over the last 2 days. I mean, the last session yesterday and this morning, India will take a lot of heart from this game, and it should augur well in the Indian team. As for the team management is concerned, Um, let's see what happens going ahead, because something big might happen.
Absolutely, something big might happen, and we will closely monitor it. As I've said already multiple times. I mean, won't say more than that. Won't say more than that. Uh, Australia never wins. Shubham Sharma, Australia never wins in 21st century if they don't win at the Gabba. These are unbelievable statistics. I really don't know. Really don't know these kind of stats. Really don't know. Can India think to chase the target? No, it's done. What is this? Travis had possible groin injury picked up by Brett Lee in the commentary box. Wow, I didn't hear this, Gargi. I didn't hear this. As I said, I don't listen to commentary because I find it boring. But uh, if Travis Head has a bit of an issue, then God help Australia. I don't think he has that big an issue not to play, and he will want to make the most of his best ever form, which he has kind of shown. He's still about 7 8 days of rest, so Travis Head will have time to recover. But if there is an issue with Travis Head, which I think will not happen, massive problem for Australia, Gargi.
But I don't think it's very. I don't think it's as what do you call it? It's as serious as some of us are thinking it is. I don't think the injury is that serious. Plus, you have a lot of you're going to get a lot of rest till the next test match, till Boxing Day. So I don't think you have Australia has anything to worry about. Maybe India will worry about it, because an Australian team without Travis Head, an Australian batting lineup without Travis Head would look much more fragile than what it does right now. But let's say, oh, what's going on? Someone saying, okay. Okay, anyway, let's get back to the point. Yes, so Travis Head, I think it's not that big of a worry. Plus, how many days? 16 days till Boxing Day. So it's just.
No, Gargi, 7 days, not 15. Hello, 7 days, 7 days.
Yes, sorry, my
Seven,
bad.
seven,
My
seven,
math
seven,
is
eight
really
days to
bad.
Boxing Day. So that's the break. This 16-day break was in the 1980s and 1990s. No longer anymore. Even the ping ball test was about 9 days. But let's think about it. Vaibhav, question for you: if you were a Manas Labuschagne, right through the year, except that one innings of 50-60, which was hard, which was genuinely hard fought, all that kind of stuff. Uh, if you were a Manas Labuschagne, you're struggling with confidence. Then there is a Bumrah. It's not going to be easy for the Australian top order at all in Melbourne if the Indians are able to bowl proper channels and bowl right. Vaibhav Tripathi.
Yeah, I think before starting that, I would see how Marnus' year has been. I think he has played 190s knock in the New Zealand, if I'm not wrong, in Wellington or Christchurch. I can't clearly remember the venue, but there was a 90 plus knock. He played one that was the only 50 plus knock that he had the whole year before making that 60 in the last Adelaide Test. So I think the pressure is on Marnus. And it's not only about the Indian bowlers building the pressure, it's also about Australian media building a lot of pressure on him, because there have been a lot of talks that if Marnus is not performing, because Marnus' record has been substandard to given how he has been since 2019 Ashes, given how many runs he has scored. So if you look at the pressure that has been built on him, right before the Adelaide Test, there were a lot of talks about him, how he's gonna perform, if this is the last Test series of Marnus, or he should be dropped after this. Because if you look at the Australian domestic circuit, it's not like there are not many options. Curtis Patterson has come back. He's looking in a fine form, so he can come back. He actually never lost his spot in the from the 11. And then there are Josh Inglis is there. He had a fab 2 or 3 games in the Sheffield Shield earlier this season. But coming to Manas, I think there is a certain problem around the off stump. He's absolutely clueless about where his off stump is. And I think the best thing when you don't know where your off stump is, as a batter, you should just keep on leaving. And that's what I have loved about McSweeney. Yes, he has got out to Bumrah many a times already in the series, but then comes that we have seen him facing 70, 80 ball. In the last innings, he did that.
Vaibhav,
That's what
a
you
lot
have
of
to do as a
people are writing about the Ashwin retirement. I kept saying I won't sort of say it till it happens, but a lot of my colleagues in the group on the show at the moment, they know what it is. I've forwarded some conversations. Let me say this. All I will say is Ashwin is such a proud cricketer who will, the moment he realizes that he cannot really make a tangible contribution to the future of this team, he will say thank you very much. And that's what it is. That is what it is about Ravichandran Ashwin. I'll quote, he never wants to be a passenger with this team. Never ever. And that is Ravichandran Ashwin. One of the greatest players to have played for India, 530 plus wickets, 700s and all of that. I will say this, I still think Ashwin has cricket left. Even the last test match when he bowled in Adelaide, I had said this, I thought that was a first class spell. Yes, he's been telling me about Washington Sundar being groomed and all of that. And he's a very dear friend of mine. I won't say more on this particular show. Very, very, very close friend of mine. All I will say is one of the greatest cricketers of our era. And that's all I will say. Let it happen. But one of the greatest servants of Indian cricket for the longest time. I know the family well. I know the family very, very well. I know Preeti extremely well. I know Ash. He's family to me. And I can say this, that as a cricketer, the kind of commitment he brings to the table is unrivaled and unparalleled. The fight that he brings to the table, I can say this to you. Okay, let me say this to you. I asked him, and I'm not trying to give anything away here. I asked him, if you watch the last test match, Pat Cummins set him up with a bouncer, and the third time he got an edge. Go check that pink ball. Second innings, there was a bouncer. He tried to hook, missed it. Bouncer, tried to hook, missed it. Third time, bouncer, tried to hook, got an edge. And I told him, why did you do that? You should have left the ball. And by the way, I tell Ashwin and we share that relationship and all of that. And he said, believe me, I was telling myself, don't play that. And it happened. And that's what it is, that the urge to to hold himself back. And he said, in my mind, I was telling myself, don't play that shot. You cannot play that shot. And it happened. When you are trying just too hard, then a mistake happens. And I know what it is all about for him. I know what he did in Sydney. I know what he's done to play this game. I know what he's done during COVID. I know exactly what this man is all about. So let it happen. But all I will say in this show is there's plenty more that I can talk about here. He's one of my dearest friends in the cricket circuit. Dearest friends. And he will be part of our conclave in March. I'm telling you now. He will be part of our conclave in March and inaugurate the conclave. Okay, so all of that has been decided and discussed, and all of that has been, but I can't say more than let it happen, let him say it, and then we will tell you all the stories that there needs to be said. Coming back to the test match, all I will say as far as Ashwin is concerned, coming back to the test match, not everything finishes in a kind of fairy tale manner. It doesn't. Not everything. Sport is cruel. Not everything finishes in a fairy tale manner. His career maybe did not finish in a fairy tale manner, but imperfect is the new perfect. Usain Bolt limped out of his last race. Roger Federer cried. Rafa Nadal, the greatest of the greatest, did not have a fairy tale ending. You don't generally have a fairy tale ending in sport. Abhinav Bindra lost out a shootout. I can give you 1 million examples in sport of people who did not have the fairy tale ending. And that perhaps sums up the effort. of certain people. And Ashwin will forever be looked upon as that man who gave it his last iota of fuel on the cricket pitch. Let's take comments, quick comments on Ash from all our guests. Shomik, why don't you start? Why don't you start?
On Ashwin?
Yes, please.
I mean, what to say? I mean, it's a.
By the way, I just want to qualify. I am not giving any definitive statement here.
Exactly.
I'm saying I'm not giving any definitive statement here, and I want to make that clear. I want to make that absolutely clear. This is not a definitive statement of any sort, and I will not say it again. Because of all that was going on, I said what I said. I was continuously, because Gargi has been on message with me for the last 35 minutes. I've been telling her I won't say it, because a lot of people were asking. I did, but this is not a definitive statement from me. Show me.
See, eventually, I mean, he has a career he should be proud of. I mean, that is an understatement. And going ahead, we'll see some other high profile. I'm not saying Ashwin, as long as it is not coming from him, I'm not saying anything about his retirement or anything. But I mean, if even yesterday I was on our Bangla live show with Ogni, I said that Ashwin probably has played his last test. And he is such a proud cricketer, such a proud individual. Once he reads the writing on the wall and if something is communicated to him, he will not hang on. He's such a proud cricketer. His contribution to Indian cricket, I don't need to say anything. It's there for everyone to see. There is nothing more to add. And I mean, uh, but Father Time spares no one. And as you said, sport is basically cruel. Apart from Sachin, which Indian cricketer got a fairy tale ending? Sunil Gavaskar's career ended in a whimper with a semi-final loss at Wankhede. Kapil Dev, I mean, sort of walked into a sunset after. I mean, when there was no cricket at all. Rahul Dravid came back from Australia and then decided he didn't get a farewell on the ground. Same with VVS. So it's only if you see in Indian cricket, only Sachin Tendulkar got that fairy tale ending. But there is nothing. Ashwin has a career. He will not regret anything. He has been a fantastic servant of Indian cricket, and what he has achieved.
After Shomik finishes, Gargi, take your turns. Take you, Bharat, and Vaibhav. I will quickly join you back in a minute. I'll just need a couple of minutes on the call.
So this is the thing. Ashwin, people always spoke about his record away from home, in the sense outside Asia. That will be there, but you cannot. You just cannot offset 500 plus test wicket. It is very difficult to take one test wicket, and then going on to take 500 test wickets. It's a staff of a legend, and Ashwin will always be a bona fide legend as far as Indian cricket is concerned.
Debashish, if you're there, your thoughts on if it's Ashwin, it will hurt a lot of fans, and we would have all wished for a home farewell. But what are your thoughts? Do you think it's going to be Ashwin? And if yes, what are your thoughts?
Sport is very cruel, Gargi. Obviously, and you should admit as well, given the way Jadeja has performed in this test match, you always have to play one spinner in this test match, in Brisbane at least. And that is what it is. But then, I don't know whether something has been communicated to Ashwin, because there is still a couple of more test matches with Melbourne and Sydney. Conditions will suit the spinners, and India might as well go in with two spinners. And who knows, Ashwin can put up a great performance and help India win. So I think there is something that has to be communicated, and else I don't know. Means obviously, and what a career it has been for Ravichandran Ashwin. Means 700 wickets, and it just doesn't come like it is. So he has been a great. He will always be remembered as one of the greatest Indian spinner after Anil Kumble. I would still rate Anil Kumble a little rank higher than Ashwin, but he will definitely be regarded as one of the best spinners India has produced.
Webber in the middle of the series, I think that's Annie's asking where is Mamu? He's behind the camera, he's showing us the visuals. But Webber, if it's Ashwin in the middle of the series, uh, like everyone has been saying, sport is cruel. Your thoughts?
Yeah, sport is cruel, and I think I remember the MS Dhoni's retirement when he retired midway in the 2014-15 series. That was tough, but one could understand players' mindset. It's up to them when they want to do, but I think the timing I still believe is questionable because now we are looking at the two tests that is remaining. One is in Melbourne, one is in Sydney. You may get friendly wickets. We all know how well Ashwin did the last time he bowled in Melbourne. So I think Ashwin's role would have been bigger. I would have definitely played Ashwin in both the remaining test, one in Melbourne and the other one in Sydney, because you will get some sort of assistance from the wicket, whether it's Melbourne or Sydney. Yes, Bharat sir rightly said that grass has been left more in the last Sheffield Shield season. That's why paces have been more effective on that deck. But still, I believe that because that bounce factor, and Ashwin, generates a lot of overspin, and that's where he can get someone like Steve Smith or Manas Labuschagne out with a forward shot leg or leg slip in play. That fielder will come in play. But now that's why I keep on repeating the same thing, that the timing of the retirement is now will be questioned. That when you have two tests remaining, one in Melbourne and the other one in Sydney, where there will be some assistance for the spinners, then why is Ashwin retiring? Has he got the signal from the team management that he is not being looked at the as a player or as a 12th man? In fact, I mean, Jadeja will play and Washington Sundar is being considered. If India want to play another spinner with Jadeja, then it will be Washington Sundar, not Ashwin, for the remaining two tests. So has this been passed? This message been conveyed to Ashwin? This is a question that needs to be asked. Or is this Ashwin's decision, that I don't want to play anymore for India? I think Washington Sundar is there. He'll be groomed, and but I think first thing is for me, it's about the question that should be the timing of this decision should be questioned, given how well Ashwin bowled in the last time he played in Melbourne, and also that there is one more test match to be played in Sydney. Both are spin friendly venues as compared to Adelaide or Gabba.
Got it. I think we should sort of end this show now, because in a couple of hours we'll come back, because the post match will happen. I hope by 12:30 the match will be called off. We will come back with plenty more news. We have lots planned. As I said, we will not say anything more than what we have already said. We will come back the moment it is official. The moment it is official that the game is called off, because at this point in time, all our reporters are saying, and it's 11 o'clock already. So an hour already gone. So 15 more overs already gone. So effectively, you're talking about, as far as the match is concerned, 35 more overs. 35 overs cannot be bowled in 2.5 hours. Australia will not be able to bowl 35 overs, because then they have to bowl Nathan Lyon continuously. So in every sense, it's done. In every sense, it's done. We will come back the moment the official call is made by the umpires, which according to me will happen maximum an hour and a half or to two. So it's 10:55 now. Approximately between 12:30 and 1, we will get formal confirmation. The moment we will get formal confirmation, and confirmation of a news also, the moment we do, trust you me, one can then tell you everything that has gone on backstage, everything that has gone on, what is happening, why is it happening, what was the thought process, etc., etc. All of the details can then be given out. But for the moment, I think we should hold back, let things happen, let the match formally be called off, and we will come back for a review show with all of us. By the way, Gargi, Shomik, Bharat, Vaibhav, Devashish will also join. All of us, Shubhan and Rohit will also join at some point, because they'll do Hindi. But we will come back with all of the news, trust me, and we will give you every detail from the backstage. I promise you that. For the moment, everybody who watched, everybody who questioned, Thank you very much for watching.